What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jay Calderon of Fight Hook News, and we're about to get into this new boxing talk. It's been a minute now. It's been a while, at least 2 years since I made a video. I took some time off, personal issues, but I'm getting back into the swing of things. I've been doing a lot of interviews with a lot of fighters, going to different venues from Orlando to New York to Las Vegas. I'm out here trying to work, trying to grind. So I hope you guys miss me. I hope you guys continue to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Right now, big boxing news. We had the upset with Ryan Garcia over Devin Haney. That was a shocker. I was in the building for that fight. A lot of people thought that Ryan Garcia was not going to make it to the fight. He winded up making to the fight. He fooled a lot of people with the shenanigans that he was going on, continuing and talking a lot of nonsense and craziness. But the man, he proved it where it counted the most, and that was inside that square circle. Once he got into that ring, he showed the hand speed, he showed the punching power. Devin Haney was not expecting that. He got hurt early in the first round. After that, Devin Haney started coasting. He started using the jab. He started to box. He started controlling the fight from round 2 to round 6. He was doing really good. I had him ahead on the scorecards. And then all of a sudden in that 7th round, Ryan caught him with the left hook once again. Hurt him, put him down for the first time in his career. And then after that, it was a wrap. Ryan took over the fight. He started to land those big shots, combination flurries. Devin was holding a lot. Ryan started to coast. He started to run around the ring, and Devin Haney started picking up momentum. And then in the 10th round, 11th round is when Ryan Garcia came on again, scored another knockdown. I had Ryan leading at that point after the 10th round. Going into the last and final rounds, Ryan Garcia definitely deserved that victory win. A lot of people say that because he had the 3-pound weight advantage when he came in and Devin had to suck himself down to 140 pounds, that it wasn't fair. But these guys play a lot of different games to try to get some type of advantage in the ring. Tank did it with Ryan when Ryan signed a contract to go down to 136 pounds when he knew he was already fighting at 140 pounds. It had a rehydration clause in the contract, so he wouldn't weigh a certain amount, and the advantage went to Tank. And people would argue and say that, he signed the contract, it is what it is. Point blank, when he got into that ring with Tank, you saw the difference in skill. Whether Ryan was weak or whatever the fact may be, skill level showed that Tank was better than Ryan in that fight. So I don't want to hear those excuses about the weight and all that. When Devin went in there, Devin didn't show any adjustment in that fight. He showed the jab. He showed that he could box, but he decided to go toe-to-toe with Ryan, and that was his big mistake. You saw him not running away from Ryan. It was Ryan that was doing the running. And this man was pressing the action, coming forward, and he paid the price for it because Ryan was the stronger, harder puncher. Whether weight or whatever played the part of it, it was the fact that Devin did not adjust and do the proper things possible. Whether it was a boring fight or not, the goal was to get the victory, and he didn't get the victory that night. So they're talking about no rematch. Ryan is a big star. Pay-per-view sales look really good. From what I'm hearing, the reports are that this pay-per-view did extremely well. Both guys are going to get paid a lot of money. Ryan is a star. I don't agree with Devin Haney being dropped from the pound-for-pound list because I believe that this man is one of the best fighters in the world. This thing, when you take a loss, you should be removed from being a top fighter. Errol Spence was the top fighter for a long time. He lost very badly, worse than Devin Haney. This man got stopped. At least Devin Haney made it to the final belt, and he got dropped about the same amount of times as Errol Spence. So he should have not been removed from the pound-for-pound list. He at least became undisputed champion and also a 2-division world champion, something that Errol Spence did not get to accomplish in his life. So I disagree with the fact that Devin Haney is no longer on the pound-for-pound list. He is a pound-for-pound fighter. He's still the WBC champion because Ryan didn't make the weight. So the title was not on the line. He is still WBC 140-pound champion. He still can make the weight, and fight his mandatory against Sandor Martin. I think that's a good fight for him to come back, work his way back. I think if he stays at 140 pounds, he should go after the IBF junior welterweight champion, the Puerto Rican assassin, Israil Matias. That's a great fight. You know, and that's a fight that he's going to get a lot of respect back if he's able to beat a puncher like that, because now everybody's going to say that he has a weak chin and he's no longer a threat in boxing. But I believe that he has a great boxing IQ and the skills to beat anybody. It's just that he fought the wrong fight. Hopefully he learns from this mistake and he's able to bounce back. I believe with 2 victories, he'll be back up there on the top elite fighting list of a lot of fighters that are out there. Now, the news that broke out, which is Eddie Hearn and Saudi Arabia's Turki Al-Ashi, that are now going to have a fight in August in Los Angeles, California. They put this massive card together. It is a beautiful card with a lot of great fighters. First of all, we're going to work our way from bottom to the top. You got opening up the card, Andy Cruz, the Cuban Olympian, who's an outstanding lightweight fighter, a prospect really to become a contender very soon. And he's taking on Antonio Morrell, a Mexican tough fighter. People mostly remember him from getting knocked out with that one punch from Devin Haney. This kid is a tough guy. He's going to be fighting against Andy Cruz. I expect Andy Cruz to deliver a knockout victory the same way Devin Haney did. Then you have David Morrell on the undercard. He's moving up from 168 pounds to 175 pounds, the light heavyweight division. He's chasing David Benavidez. He wants that fight. He's been calling for David Benavidez. Benavidez is fighting this June in the light heavyweight division against a former world champion. And now David Morrell is moving up to 175 pounds to face a legitimate light heavyweight in Hot Rod. Hot Rod has been in there with a lot of good fighters. It's a good fight to test the waters, and I believe that David Morrell is going to put on a great show. Great hand speed, power, skillful fighter, another Cuban on the card. Then we got the big heavyweight boys, Andy Ruiz. He hasn't fought in 2 years. He's going to bring a big Mexican fan base. He's the first heavyweight champion of Mexico, and now he's going to be facing my guy, Jarrell Big Baby Miller from Brooklyn, New York. You know, Miller put on a disappointing performance against Daniel Dubois in Saudi Arabia, but you know, now hopefully he has more time to prepare. It's going to be about 3.5 months of training. He looks already in good shape. He's working with a new strength and conditioning team, and hopefully he could be in the best shape possible to bring out the best of Big Baby Miller. Ruiz, fast hand speed, good boxing skills. You know, the kid has, you know, some good punching power. He also has a rock solid chin. So it's going to be one hell of a fight between those two. They're going to be dropping bombs. They're very friendly with each other. They know each other very well. And I believe that it's going to turn into a real dog fight. And I'm excited for that. That's a real interesting fight. Then you're moving up to the fight with Pitbull Cruz and Rayo. That's a great matchup. Rayo is a 135-pound lightweight that's moving up to 140. He's a big guy, bigger than Israil Cruz. Israil Cruz is a small guy. You know, they call him the little Chihuahua, but this man got a big bite. He is a pit bull when he steps into that ring. And Pitbull is going to stay at the 140-pound division and defend his WBA junior welterweight title. We love seeing Pitbull destroy Rolly Romero, and now we got him defending his title for the first time against Rayo. Jose Venezuela is a guy that can punch. He's as big as Rolly, and I believe that he is a better fighter than Rolly, and he's going to give Pitbull problems. This might be an upset. Don't sleep on Rayo. Rayo is a tough guy. He's coming off a great knockout win in a rematch that he had, a fight that he should have won the first time against Little B-Hop. And that fight, Chris Colberg, you know, he won that first fight, but they gave it to Chris Colberg, and then he came back with a spectacular. I had it for knockout of the year back in December. You know, so he's been active. He's going to be stronger at 140, and I believe that that's going to be a great fight, action-packed fight. Pitbull's going to put a lot of pressure. He's going to hit Rayo, but don't sleep on Rayo. I think him at this weight is going to work beneficial for him, and I believe that he's going to be able to score an upset over Pitbull Cruz. But that's on that fight, and that could be the co-main event, depending on the situation of this weekend. We expect Virgil Ortiz Jr., one of the rising stars. He's making his second fight, coming back from the illness that he had, where it kept him out of the ring with a couple of cancellations of his fights. But now this is his second comeback fight. He's fighting against Thomas Delorme. We expect him to blow past Thomas Delorme because Delorme is the Puerto Rican fighter that was supposed to be the next Felix Trinidad when he first came up. And he's been a very disappointment to the Puerto Rican community as far as not achieving the goals that we had expect him to do to becoming the next great Puerto Rican fighter. So, Delorme was knocked out, I believe, in his last fight. And I expect for Virgil Ortiz to go right through this man this weekend. And hopefully he doesn't get injured because he's going to be on the card, perhaps as the co-feature against Tszyu. Man, oh man, this is a great fight. This is the fight that could be the main event by itself. We're talking about a Mexican brawler with skills, excellent body puncher with punching power at 154 pounds, stronger Virgil Ortiz Jr. against the man that's one of the best fighters at junior middleweight at 154 pounds, and that's Tszyu from Australia. We saw the tremendous heart that this man has. He's willing to get into the ring with anybody out there, and we saw him step into the ring with Fundora 12 days before he was supposed to fight Keith Thurman, and that fight got canceled because Keith Thurman had to pull out of the fight due to an injury. So stepped in was Fundora. We saw one of the best fights of the year so far. It was a bloodbath between these two. And already, it hasn't even been 1 month yet. And this man suffered a really bad gash on the top of his head. And he's already coming back to fight in August. And it just shows the type of fighter that Tszyu is. And we can't wait. We can't wait for this man to step into the ring against Virgil Ortiz because that's going to be perhaps fight of the year between their style matchup. We're talking about an all-out war, a banger. I like Tszyu a lot, but I like also Virgil Ortiz. It's a 50-50 fight for me. A lot of people pick Virgil Ortiz. They have their favorites, and I like both of these guys a lot. These guys both have certain techniques about them. Tszyu doesn't utilize the jab well. If Virgil could utilize the jab, then it could be a boxing match where he could box and punch at the same time and also break him down to the body. But Tszyu, very strong, very good chin. He comes forward. I don't think he's going to get knocked out. He has the ability to hurt probably Virgil Ortiz, and we haven't seen Virgil hurt ever, really. So, I think it's going to be an awesome fight, and I can't wait for that. Then you got the main event. You got Terence Crawford, the undisputed champion at 140 and 147, coming off the biggest victory of his career against Errol Spence Jr. He hasn't been in the ring. By the time he steps in, it's going to be a year that he's been out of the ring. He's fighting at 154 pounds, moving up to his 4th weight division, looking for another world title. Possibly 2 world titles might be on the line because Fundora, who said he's not ready to fight, or his team said that he wasn't ready to fight until November or December. Terence Crawford was not going to wait all the way until December to fight as the mandatory challenger for Fundora. So the WBO gave him a protection, which is basically let him fight for an interim title of the WBO for the junior middleweight title, super welterweight title, whatever you want to call it. He's going to fight for that interim title at 154 pounds against Israil Madrimov. Israil Madrimov is the WBA current junior middleweight champion of the world at 154 pounds. This man had a great amateur background. He only had 10 professional fights. He's undefeated with 7 knockouts, but he is a non-stop machine. They call him Little Triple G. He looks exactly like Triple G, but he fights more like a Demetrius Bivol. He's from that cloth, from that same type of style fighting where he utilizes his footwork very well in and out. He puts a lot of pressure. He utilizes his jab, and he has good boxing ability with quick hands and hard-hitting power. This guy could punch. He's a lot tougher than people think, and he's going to give Bud a lot of problems in this fight early. But Bud is a great technician. This guy is a super boxing IQ that he has, and I believe that Bud is going to adjust. He knows how to switch up. He has quickness. He's aging. He's 37 years old. So Bud is coming to the tail end of his career. He's getting paid very good money by Saudi Arabia. They wanted this fight. Eddie Hearn, that's his fighter, Israil Madrimov. And this is a good fight, a very good fight to test the waters at 154 pounds for Bud. And if he wins a legitimate WBA title, becomes a 4-division world champion. If Fundora decides to come back earlier than November or December and not fight Bud, instead, I believe he's going to fight Errol Spence Jr. I'm waiting for that announcement to come soon, that he'll fight Errol Spence Jr. way before the month of November or December, and he'll defend the WBC junior middleweight title at 154 pounds against Errol Spence. Then the WBO will strip Fundora of his title, and Bud will be elevated. If he wins against Madrimov, he'll be elevated as the WBO champion, and he'll have 2 world titles already in his quest to become undisputed at 154 pounds, his 3rd weight division. And that is a great move. You know, these guys are playing chess. And, you know, PBC has been blocking them every which way. You know, Jermell Charlo petitioned to have a shot at the WBA champion, but this fight was already made way before he put in the petition. So they're allowing this fight to be sanctioned for the WBA. Jermall Charlo is the champion recession, but he has the ability, if he feels to, challenge Bud versus Israil Madrimov. If whoever comes out the winner of that fight, he's able to challenge them right away, because they also, the WBA has a sanction Tszyu versus Virgil Ortiz for the interim title, and to become the mandatory for the winner of Bud Crawford and Israil Madrimov. So, you know, right now, it's a chess game. Who's going to fight and how is going to play out? This is who we want to see. We want to see Terence Bud Crawford become the champion. We want him to fight either Tszyu or Virgil Ortiz, whoever wins that fight, because like I said, it's a 50-50 fight. So whoever wins that fight between the both of them, you know, gets to fight, hopefully, Terence Crawford, because they'll become the mandatory, you know. Or if Jermell Charlo decides to intervene and he petitions that he's going to be next in line, then I wouldn't mind seeing Jermell Charlo versus Bud Crawford, because we were waiting for that fight when he was the undisputed champion and he decided to move up for the big payday and put on a horrible performance against Canelo Alvarez, and then he lost all his titles because he decided not to fight any of the mandatories, including Israil Madrimov. So, you know, right now, if he wants to step in after Bud takes care of business and fights Bud, that's a great matchup. And then waiting in the wings is Tszyu and Virgil Ortiz, the winner of that fight, waiting for either Terence Crawford or Jermell Charlo, whoever wins out between that fight right there. And I'm telling you, it's a great time for boxing right now. Boxing is at an all-time high. We have the boxing event that's coming up June 1st with Demetrius Bivol versus Arthur Beterbiev. That's going to be one hell of a fight with a tremendous card. Saudi Arabia is putting on the best shows since last year when they got on the scene. I mean, they're putting on great cards. Now they're coming to the United States. They're going to go to Wimbledon Stadium in London, England. They're going to put on a great, fantastic card, I believe, in September over there. So they're traveling globally to make an impact in boxing and put the money where their mouth is and make sure that we get the best fights as fans. This is what we want. All the promoters working together, PBC, Eddie Hearn, you know, Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, even though he's talking a lot of trash right now, he needs to get on board and get on this with Frank Warren and also Bob Arum to all work together and make the best fights, the best versus the best. This is what boxing fans have been craving for. Now Saudi Arabia, thanks to Big Turk, is putting the money down so that these fighters get paid well enough and that they're able to compete against each other, put their O's on the line, put their titles on the line, and make the best fights for the fight fans. And I just love the way it is, you know. I thank everybody for watching this video. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know, one or the other, make a comment. You know, let's keep these videos going. I'm going to continue to bring you more and more interviews. I got a lot of interviews that I've done over the last couple of months. Check out my YouTube channel at Fight Hook News. That's the new name. It used to be J. Calderon Boxing Talk. Now it's Fight Hook News. That's my company. You know, check me out on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, all social media platforms, TikTok, everything under Fight Hook News. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.